All right, time now for all things Gators, all things orange and blue. Dan Hicken and Frangie. What's up, Hick?
Great stuff. Southeast
Yes.
Orthopedic Specialist, se-ortho.com for all your orthopedic needs. Great time of the year, and what an enjoyable night in the swamp on Saturday. I'm happy for the fans. I'm happy for the kids. I'm happy for the coaches. Happy for Billy. Happy for everybody associated with the program. It was a great performance by Florida, something we haven't said in a long time, against a team that is pretty good. It's not like it was an SEC team that took Georgia, talking about Kentucky, lost by a point, 13-12, had one of the best defenses in the country, best in the SEC, and Florida handled them.
Yeah, I really thought it was maybe as good a game as I've seen Florida play in the Napier era. And I know they blew out South Carolina in his era, and I know they beat Utah in his first game. But I thought complete that complimentary football everybody talks about. And I will tell you, and listen, we'll get into the coaching stuff eventually. It's a huge challenge ahead for them. We'll get to that in a minute. But you know one thing that stood out to me, Dan? Slowly but surely, it does look, if you look close enough and even squint a little bit, there's some good young players.
There are some good young players.
I mean, number one, the true freshman quarterback and running back. It starts with those two.
Oh, right when I tweeted, this is the best half of football I think I've seen under Napier. Kentucky returned a kickoff.
Yeah, right after.
And then we got the ball with a minute and a half, and we basically sat on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey.
Yeah, we all did.
But you're right. And listen, at the college level, it doesn't take long to figure out if a quarterback is pretty good. And this kid is special. I think everybody would say that.
Wait till he learns how to play. Right now,
he made a freshman mistake with the pick, and he'll keep making those.
He's playing now on ability and moxie and savvy. Wait till he learns how to play.
Right.
Wait till he learns how to go through progressions.
Right.
Wait till he learns how to look guys off.
Yeah.
Wait till the game slows down for him a little bit. That hasn't happened yet, and he still has really good numbers. Here's what I'll tell you. Big, strong, fast, and accurate.
Yeah.
If you can put big, strong, fast with accurate at that level, no, I agree with you. He is and Jaden Boss special. And we saw that in the spring, and I'm wondering why. Again, old school coaches play the old guy, not the young guy. And Montreal played very well against Tennessee.
He did.
But there's something. But I said, watch those two guys. We'll get back to Lagway in a minute. Then I thought, okay, other than Crenshaw Dixon, the right tackle.
Well, let's give Napier credit, too, for ball, because he was an Arkansas committee. He's a 3-star from Atlanta, and one thing that Billy's good at is he can spot.
Yeah, he can.
He doesn't get the 5 stars, so he has to feast on the 3s, and he's done it.
I'll tell you a story about Baugh. I had Billy on the air in the spring after Baugh had played so well in the spring game.
Okay, yep.
And I asked him about him. Billy played against his dad in high school. So the dad was a linebacker.
Okay.
And Billy was the quarterback, and they played against each other. And so he's known the family all along.
Okay, good.
So that's how Baugh wound up there.
That's great.
Billy told me that story. But anyway, you're right. He finds those guys. But then I think the offensive line can all come back except Crenshaw Dixon if they want to. Just stay with me here. Then I'm looking on defense. I've been critical of their talent. I've been more than you have.
Yeah. I kind of thought they're middle of the conference.
But now I think, and I still think that. But if I look at the young guys and what they can be, obviously, all of a sudden linebackers, Shamar James, Pup, the two young guys, Childs and Miles Graham, the other Robinson kid from Lake City.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that's a lot of players.
Yeah.
I think Pyburn's changed them. I didn't think he'd be good enough to play at the college level.
Good point.
He's made them better.
Yeah.
Gums, the trend. And then you look at the back end. Boy, it's good to see Carmani McClain get in the game.
Yeah.
If the light ever goes on for him, and
Watch out.
And he's got a lot of off-field stuff that people probably don't even know about. But if he gets through all of that, and by all accounts, he's working through it. He's working through the problem.
Yeah.
And if he gets through them, and it looks like he has, good for him, by the way. All of a sudden, 13 Gates. All of a sudden, there's some. I was critical of their talent, and I said that on this podcast. But as I watch it more and more, you want the young players to be the good ones.
Oh yeah.
There's more good young players there than maybe I had given them credit for. That's what they scored 48 points.
And I'll say this, I was critical of their coaching.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. I don't know what exactly they did. I don't know what switch was flipped, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We'll start there. But something happened during the bye week. I don't know if he changed the way he coaches.
Right.
I know he moved pieces around as far as coaching staff.
Yeah.
You stay down on the field, you go up. Whatever it was, they're playing with effort. They're playing fast.
Yes.
They're running to the ball. They're in position. It's been much, much better.
And let me tell you this to that end. I'm not an ex-football guy that can tell you
Right.
his 3 technique is now shading the 5.
Right.
What I can
Just
tell
the fact
you,
that you can say that's not bad.
right. but I can tell you to the naked eye, it looks like they've crowded the line. It looks like now they're not blitzing from 30 yards back.
Yeah.
It looks like now when they start, there's 4 or 5 guys, and there's 2 more stepping in the lanes, and they got a bunch of guys in the box.
Right.
They look like one of those defenses that plays with a lot of. And again, that's to the naked eye.
Right.
That's not football ease. It just looks like there's more guys in the television picture when they're playing and they're crowding the line, and that's made them better against the run.
Yeah.
And the 2 guys I've been really critical of, and I'll admit this, Cam Jackson and Caleb Banks.
Yeah.
The transfers, I kept thinking, why aren't they better? Why aren't these transfers better players? Well, by crowding the line and occupying blockers, it's made those 2 guys pretty good. Now, all of a sudden, those 2 guys, now I see why Joey Slackman didn't beat out one of them.
Right.
Now, I've been critical of them, so I sound like a hypocrite going back, but those 2 guys in the middle of that line has started to play better. They look like we're not giving them the national championship. Okay?
Sure.
They still got some big challenges ahead.
Oh, yeah.
But given where they have been, what we have watched, they've won 3 out of 4. They're 4-3, and I wish the schedule was a little more normal.
I know,
but
it's a 7. If it was a normal schedule, they could win 7 or 8. But it's just not. And so we'll talk about that in a second. I did want to mention, because you mentioned him, but I want to give him a little more. The Pyburn kid.
Yes,
because I agree with you. And
he's changed them.
And obviously they love him.
Yes,
and he plays relentlessly.
Yes.
Now, knowing people who know him here in Jacksonville, they tell me he is a kid who is obsessed with football.
Right.
And this was a kid who was getting up at 4 a.m. in high school,
right,
eating the right foods, going to the weight room, and the way he rehabbed from his knee injury and what he was in on offense.
Yeah.
I said
he looks like a fullback.
I was watching the game. I said, watching the game, I said, watch 44. He will hit somebody here.
Yeah.
And ball followed him right into the end zone. It was a great play.
He looked, number one, he's got a fullback's number.
He does.
But he's got a fullback's body.
He does.
He looks like a, but
anyway, I
agree with you.
It's neat to see.
And I'll say this, and I think you've made this point. We talked about it on our radio show here in town, too. They still play hard for him.
Yeah.
The one thing we have heard is that he cleaned up the locker room, and he cleaned up in terms of culture. Culture's an overused word, but it does matter.
Yep.
That he's cleaned it up in such a way. There's not a lot of quit in them.
No.
They play. Even the games they're not playing very well. They play hard.
Yeah.
And look, this is a Kentucky team that beat them 3 times in a row.
Yes.
And Kentucky is 3-4.
I thought Kentucky would manhandle them.
I did physically.
Yes.
I
and
did
they
too.
did not.
I did too.
They not. And also we should say, I got to say the offensive line played better. Played better.
Yeah. So there. Now you and I was in London with the Jags. You and I didn't do this last week.
Right.
But I really thought if they could get 1 or 2 more.
Right.
That Tennessee performance was the turn the corner moment.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to talk after that. But I thought the Tennessee they lost the game.
Right.
And Florida's too good a program and too rich in heritage to have moral victories, but sometimes you do. I thought, and by the way, I thought they should have won the game.
Yeah.
I thought they should have gone for 2. But But beyond that, I thought that off week, the way they changed practice, something changed in that team. And typically, Florida always plays well against Tennessee anyway. But I thought something changed, Dan. I thought they found something. He's found something. Now, again, having said that, it's going to be brutal.
It's 21-point favorites already, Georgia.
Yeah, and listen, think about this. Is that what the number is, 21? Yeah. But, think about this. You play, I think if I looked at this right, they play 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7 the rest of the way, or 1, 4, 5, and 6 the rest of the way. Other than FSU, who's not having a good year.
Right.
Everybody else they play is in the top 14. And 3 of them are in the top 8. It's just a brutal.
It's brutal.
Yeah, it's just,
they knew it, we knew it, and now it's here. And it'll be interesting.
But let me ask you this: Tennessee's a top 10 team.
Yeah.
And Florida outplayed them. And
what if I told you this?
Should have been.
Here's a hypothetical. What if I told you either Georgia or Texas?
Yeah.
You're going to look up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They're going to have a chance.
I would not be shocked.
You would not be shocked.
I would have been before this week.
Yeah.
And I would have been, in fact.
Now, maybe I'm jumping too much ahead. Maybe I'm putting my Gator glasses on. But
if you'd have said that before the Tennessee game,
I'd
have thought you were so senile I'd have walked away from the podcast. I'd have quit. But now, seeing what we've seen, I don't think they're going to win one of those games.
What do we do in college football as fans? We go,
if this, and this, and this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we can do it. And at least we have that now.
Well, here's one for you. I'll give you something. I'll give you this. You ready?
Uh-huh.
By the time they reach November,
they
control their destiny. went out during the playoffs.
Yeah.
No, think about it.
Yeah.
Went out.
They're in.
Because this would be 3 losses against the best schedule in the country. Now, they're not winning out, but but for the sake of the conversation, here's the thing.
Listen, I'm 2 wins away from the tomahawk steak.
Well,
so let's get that at least.
And tell people what that is.
As I bet with my friend, my fellow Gator fraternity brother from 40 years ago, Bubba.
Yeah.
And Bubba says every year, because he has no faith in Napes and the boys.
He's everybody.
I won 2 years ago. I lost last year with that 5-game losing streak, but it's a tomahawk steak and a round of golf. And, man, I thought I was dead in the water, and now I have a little hope. Just give me some hope.
Well, think about this. Let me give you a reality.
Uh-huh.
If they go for 2 against Tennessee and make it.
Why
and
did
two. No, just
Billy!
Stay with me. They'd had to make it. But they go for 2 and make it.
Uh-huh.
They're 5-2, 3-1, and ranked 15th.
Yeah.
Think about it. They'd be 5-2,
3-1,
and ranked 15th.
Yeah, they would. It's 100% true.
So they're 2 yards from that
Yes.
being who they are.
Yes.
So look, give them, regardless how you feel about Napier,
right?
Regardless how you feel about give them credit for you can only play with what you got. And they didn't quit on the season.
Right.
They didn't quit after Miami and
that means something. I give Napier credit for that too. Listen, we have annihilated that coach. So let's pat them on the back for where they are. I'm not. You're not. Most Gator Nation is not the kind of fan base who's going to sit there and want them to lose. You just can't do it.
No,
you just can't do it.
Want them to lose.
I would love. I watched the Tennessee game. We haven't talked since. I would have hugged Billy Napier's neck if he had beaten Tennessee and said, "Come on back next." If he wins 2 more, is he back at 6-6?
Yes. No. Yeah. I'll tell you. Now, this isn't. You're asking. You're not saying should he be.
No.
You're asking me what I think. How. There's no doubt in my mind.
He's back.
He's back at 6-6.
6-6. He gets a bowl game.
What I'm hearing is he might be, barring a lost FSU or total collapse, barring more dysfunction and blowouts, he might be back. Anyway, one more, he might be back. Yeah. I'm hearing there's a chance at 5 wins they give him a 4th year. Now, based on this isn't should or shouldn't.
No. I get it.
This is would or wouldn't.
Yes.
I'm hearing that at 5 wins, if it doesn't look disastrous in these next 4.
It depends on how they play.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm hearing with all the young players, with what they feel like he had to clean up, with why not give him 1 more year that guarantees Lagway, guarantees Baugh, guarantees some of the other.
Doesn't guarantee anything, but I know what you're saying.
Probably. You probably have Lagway. You probably have that young core. So I'm here.
I know what you're up to, Texas A&M, and I don't like it. Leave our guy alone.
But I think Lagway wants to stay there. I think Lagway
only
likes
positives.
I think he likes the Gators.
Only positives.
And I'm telling you, when he learns how to play, right now, I mean, he was 7 of 14 for 260 yards. And ran for 50 yards and doesn't want to play yet.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand the college game. He's just such a good, tough.
7 completions for 260. You know what he does? And this is one thing.
Yeah. And that Mertz didn't do.
Stretches the field.
Yeah.
The whole field is in play now. And it gets out quick.
Yeah. I am among those, and I liked Mertz more than all the rest of y'all did to start
you did,
with.
From the get-go.
And I really did. And he is a wonderful Gator.
Great kid.
I mean, he finished his career 75%.
Yeah.
By the way, which is the highest in Gator history.
Yeah.
He finished his career 26 touchdowns and 5 picks.
Terrific.
The only other quarterback in Gator history with 5-1 is Tebow.
Yeah.
We had like 82 and 16 or something like that. But for the most part, so he is really and again now the game's different now, but nonetheless, the point is he was a really good Gator, way better than what he gave him credit for. But Lagway gives you some arm talent and leg talent and body talent.
Yes.
That Burns wasn't going to give you.
No.
And now. And it's working out. Again, if Billy gets to next year, it worked out perfectly for him. He got to play Lagway under Mertz. Now, mid-season, he gets to play Lagway the rest of the way. So if he's the coach and Lagway's the quarterback next year, now it's another brutal schedule, by the way.
Same schedule.
But it's
Just flip-flop the homes and aways.
But now you go into, but it's a little different because there's no dang Cam Ward, okay?
Yeah.
There's no Cam Ward next year. But nonetheless.
There'll be no Jackson Dart.
Yeah, that's right.
There'll be no Carson Beck.
All that. So, but Lagway will be back.
Yes.
But if you get to next year, the amount he's played. So look, I'm encouraged with where they are.
They've improved, Frank. And we just all we wanted, right?
Correct. And not only improved, but they play with a toughness now.
Yeah.
They play with a little bit of a passion now. They play, I said this earlier in our podcast, earlier in the year, it's not the losses that bother me. It's teams come in that aren't great, and Florida doesn't swallow them like they used to.
And they did on Saturday.
They did on Saturday.
One other note, and we'll get out of here, but Danny Downer note. I wonder how all the, it has to affect recruiting, right?
Yeah,
And they lost a kid this week. And so I think, and they're down in the low 30s.
Yeah.
Don't know how that's going to work out, how that part is going to be. So that will be interesting going forward, too. But I think and you can't make the announcement because you have to wait and see how it plays out. But if he is back,
yes,
and you do have Lagway, you got some good things going on.
I agree with you.
By the way, I got to say this, too. Give the ball to Trey a couple times on those sweeps.
Well,
stop making him run all that.
It's funny. It's funny you got. I was going to say you were one step ahead of me.
Yeah.
The one thing I worry about that they have not done a good job is keeping their stars.
Yeah.
Princely leaves and ETN leaves, and they haven't kept their stars because they went for bigger and better things. Trey's their star.
Yeah.
And I worry a little bit.
Me too.
I think the other guys are coming back.
At some point, he's going to say, Coach,
I
don't want to be a decoy.
Yeah, exactly. So I worry that Trey, because you got to keep him.
Yeah.
Because if you have he and Mizell and Tank, and so I worry about that. Hey, listen, they're off this week. We don't have to preview a game until next week. We'll do that on next week's show.
Right.
I won't even get into hoops. We'll get into hoops. They're ranked, by the way. But we'll do that. We'll do that next week. I like where they're
coming through Jacksonville, too, right?
I look forward to that. So, but for right now, this is the time the Gator fan, if you're watching this, you're a Gator fan, you deserve to enjoy. Don't worry about Georgia and Texas right now. That was we haven't had many of those 48-20s in a while. Okay, we haven't had many of those. No. We haven't many when you get 300 yards in the first half against the best defensive team in the league. Enjoy this one.
Amen.
I appreciate it. No matter how you feel about Napier, no matter what you want to see happen, enjoy this one. That's all things Gators. I'm Frank Frangie. He's Dan Hicken.
Yeah, and thank you, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, se-ortho.com for all your orthopedic needs in the whole Jacksonville area. There's nobody better. Have a great week.
You too.
All right.